tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to that one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Tim Black. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be back in 2023 talking about PlayStation.
Yeah, that's right. It's the year of the PlayStation.
Every year is the year of the PlayStation.
Yeah. I was going to see if I could work out how to tie rabbit to PlayStation, but...
Is there a prominent PlayStation rabbit? Is there a rabbit in the Sly Cooper franchise?
I don't even think there is. Man, that's disappointing, hey? Why couldn't there be Year of the Bandicoot or some shit like that? Make it easy. Fucking hell.
There's no bandicoots in China, so...
Do they only use animals that you can get in China?
I assume so. Well, it's pretty generic, general ones everywhere, you know. Except tiger.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And dragon. Those are both pretty rare.
Yeah. Maybe if they draw a line like, we only use animals that like you could actually see in China. What about the dragon then? Yeah, apart from that.
You don't know.
Yes, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
They're hunted into extinction.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This way, you got a trophy cabinet, silver trophy for PSVR2 launch games list being available, gold trophy for The Last of Us debuting on HBO, and a platinum trophy for the show being back for 2023. Because we're back. We're officially we're back. We're back. One episode a week. Number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias, in your ear holes, each and every week on this feed.
Yep.
Or website. I don't know. Maybe people listen via... I guess that's a good point.
On the browser?
On the browser? I don't know. Like, do whatever you need to do. All right. So there's a few news stories to go over. Some more recent. Some things that happened in the time we've been off. So some are exciting. Some are maybe a little bit outdated. It's fine. I didn't bother bringing up the PlayStation Extra Plus tier games because I was like, fuck it. We're nearly in February at this point. Like, let's just move on from that. Let's start with a little bit of an interesting... Well, I don't know. We'll see if it's interesting. PlayStation revealed the most downloaded games of 2022. I feel like the big number ones aren't really that surprising. So, the only thing I find interesting about this is like the difference between, so like PS4 games, for example, number one in the US and Canada, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number one in the EU, FIFA. It's like, where's FIFA 23 in the US? 10th. Where's Call of Duty on EU? 3rd. Not even 2nd. So. But out of PS5 games, because fuck the PS4 games. PS5 games, top 10. Let's go. US, Canada had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, God of War Ragnarok, NBA 2K23, Elden Ring, Madden NFL 23, Grand Theft Auto 5, FIFA 23, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, Dying Light 2, and slightly different results for EU. FIFA 23 was number one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, number 2. Number 3, God of War Ragnarok. Number 4, Elden Ring. Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 6, Gran Turismo 7. Really fucked that up, didn't they? Number 7, Cyberpunk 2077. Number 8, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 9, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And number 10, Dying Light 2. Anything stand out from that? Or?
No. I mean, Cyberpunk, I guess, would be on the EU side, bit of resurgence. What, it's 12th on the US side?
DLC and whatever else this year, and they put it back on the store.
Yep. Well, I'm sure that helps. Yeah. Yeah. Not too surprising.
I don't think too surprising there. PSVR games list, I feel like is so fucking sad because there's just like nothing. And this is, of course, PSVR 2 is right around the corner. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. But like, here's a US Canada Beat Saber Job Simulator, Super Hot VR, Creed Rise to Glory, Swordsman VR, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Rick and Morty Virtual Reality, Gorn, Batman Arkham VR, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and then in the EU, Beat Saber, Job Simulator, Super Hot VR, Creed Rise to Glory, Sniper Elite VR, Swordsman VR, Rick and Morty Virtual Reality, Batman Arkham VR, Arizona Sunshine, Astrobot Rescue Mission. It is like the most dead platform. Like, I don't think, what's the most recent game on that list to release? Probably like a couple of years ago. Like, there's nothing like, it's just, and even in a world where Moss 2.
Yeah, I
new
was about
release.
to bring up Moss 2. Obviously, that was the only title that I could think of that came out this year.
Yeah. The only chance of a new game that people would have maybe brought enough of to make it into the top 10? No. Didn't even work, so no wonder that got pushed out to Quest and stuff about, I don't know, a month or two after the release on PlayStation, I think. So, yeah, set times for the VR. But yes, VR is right around the corner. And then free-to-play games. I actually thought this was probably the most surprising list out of the whole bunch. So, US, Canada, Fall Guys, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, Warzone 2.0, Multiversus, Overwatch 2, Apex Legends, Rocket League, PUBG Battlegrounds, Rec Room, Rumbleverse, EU, Fall Guys, Call of Duty, Warzone, Warzone 2.0, Fortnite Multiversus, Overwatch 2, Rocket League, eFootball 2023, Apex Legends, Rumbleverse, Rec Room. I was actually shocked Fall Guys is number one on both.
It's a fun game that the whole family can play. Yeah. All ages game. Now that it's free to play, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because the thing is, like, this is the most downloaded free-to-play games. This isn't like a concurrent players list or anything, but it just goes to show that in 2022, with Fall Guys moving free-to-play,
Smart
everyone downloaded it. Everyone downloaded that motherfucker. So, yeah, it's good. All right, next, let's go over the PlayStation DualSense Edge controller. It is out this week on Thursday, I think, 26th. Do I have that?
So it says in this article.
There you go. Yeah. I wouldn't be wrong ever. So all the reviews popped up this morning as well, that sort of thing as of recording. For the most part, I've seen everyone just say it's really, really good. It's really expensive. Not everyone needs it, but if you're a hardcore PlayStation gamer, and you want the premium controller, I'm pretty sure the majority of the reviews and you can afford it, go for gold. The news post I put up last week was showing the PlayStation Access unboxing video, which of all the unboxing videos I quickly scanned around, I thought was like the most sexy of all the unboxing videos. I'm really keen. I think, and this is the thing, of course, the thing I'm most excited about, back buttons, baby.
They're back, baby.
They're back. Oh, I can enjoy playing Apex Legends again. That's the standout. But I also think...
so once you actually buy this, then we're going to be playing Apex Legends again? Who's your first buddy?
Yeah, I can play multiplayer games again. I'm allowed to play multiplayer games again once I've got those back buttons. What do you like the general reaction this morning, and just like if you scan through the video and just like see it, it's very premium looking product, like the second it's sort of taken out, and definitely looks sleek, and not to say the original DualSense looks cheap at all, but they've definitely gone to the I think this thing looks premium.
But it's like the black. The black is blacker. Black. Yeah, it's the shiny black.
It's like glossy black sort of thing. Also.
Yeah. Looks cool. Not for me. But for the people who it's for, it's cool.
Yeah.
Seems very high priced, but that's kind of the way it is.
If it wasn't the price, would you get one? Like if it was that more
I mean, if it was only like maybe $50 more, maybe than a usual DualSense, maybe I would, but it's almost 3 times the price.
Are you a Telstra person or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you are. Buddy made you the whole JB thing, right?
No, I've been. Yeah.
Oh, did you? I thought you did. What the fuck? I thought you was on Optus when
yeah. My personal phone's Optus, and like I paid for the house internet and stuff, everything that's Telstra.
Okay, I was about to say because I got my Xbox Elite controller through using Telstra points. So I'm wondering if they'll eventually add the DualSense Edge,
because they've got.
Why not?
They do.
That's true. They've got the Xbox partnership.
They've got the Xbox thing. Yeah.
Fuck. That's nice.
Yeah. The program.
Redeem the points. Redeem the points for a Elite controller, and then like trade it to someone for a PlayStation Edge. So yeah. I'll have thoughts on the controller, I guess, next week. But yeah, I'm keen. Some other news that's dropped in the time we've been off. Returnal is officially coming to PC on February 15th. It is sort of getting your typical roadmap of PC specs. It's going to support NVIDIA DLSS, NVIDIA NIS, AMD FSR. It's going to have ultra wide, super ultra wide support, all these extra things. The most exciting thing I think would be that it's now supporting ray trace reflections compared to the PS5, which only did ray trace shadows. So, and the game has like a lot of reflective surfaces and stuff. So I'm sure that's going to look really, really good. I'm sure you're going to need a very good PC to be able to handle that, though. Like their graphics settings recommendation for that is like a 3080 Ti. So, yeah, you're going to have an expensive PC. But nonetheless, for people who haven't had a chance to play Returnal or want to replay it, I guess, on a different platform. Yeah, cool to see. So, and it's going to be able to, you know, obviously you got the co-op and the data content that's happened since then. And not to mention the fact that the game, you know, when we talked about it, makes great use of the DualSense controller. You don't even have to lose out on that. You just hook up your DualSense controller to the PC and it still will use the, you'll still get the full support. So, it's cool. Talking about controllers. While I was off at CES, PlayStation announced their accessibility controller kit. It's called Project Leonardo. So not too much, at least from my point of view, to say about this other than it's cool. Obviously, it's this. I don't want to it's hard for me to have opinions on something when I don't need it. You know, like it's not for me. But like it's very cool to see PlayStation doing something like this because, of course, Xbox was doing a lot more for I would say PlayStation was definitely their studios, be it Naughty Dog or whoever, Santa Monica Studio with the games. They were definitely doing a lot of cool stuff for accessibility stuff, but Xbox was sort of ahead of them in doing accessibility stuff when it came to controllers. So now that they've stepped into that market, it's really cool. But looking at the thing, it just looks wild. I don't fully understand how it works or but for people who are like they mentioned in the article that they've spoken to a lot of able gamers and
able
whoever
gamers,
else,
special effects and stack up organizations who are experts in accessibilities and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and ask them like what they would want and need for a controller to be fully customizable to make it a lot more accessible for people who need access to something like this. So it's cool. I don't think there was ever a release date or like a rough idea of when this is. They're just continuing to work on it. Just showed it off at CES. Yeah.
So yeah, it looks really interesting. Obviously, you know, for us, it's like what does it mean? But yeah, it looks like a lot of different ways you can use that in conjunction with a DualSense, in conjunction with other accessories that you can plug in via an auxiliary cord. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, really good, and I'm sure it's not long before somebody beats Elden Ring using the controller when it launches. Yeah. You're like, who's the first person? I'm going to beat Elden Ring using this weird controller.
I mean, it just looks wild, but I guess like there's that thing of like for people who like say they can hold the DualSense and they can use the analog stick to move the character, but then they need this like they can't push the buttons. They can't make the
refined
movements
touch
and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, and I've seen like people like Stephen, what's his last name? Song, yeah. Like talk about that stuff and like different controllers and why the Xbox One's really good and stuff like that. And it's like for someone who I would look at stuff like this and be like, I don't understand how this works. Like, but yeah, it's just that sort of thing when you're in your own little bubble and you don't need things like this. It's how the fuck does it work? Let's move into PlayStation Productions news for the first week of 2023. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot of PlayStation Productions news. This is it's almost
in 2023,
it's the hot topic segment of this show, I feel like, that's been added in last year. But of course, The Last of Us HBO show started last week. We dropped a spoiler cast episode for that. So if you haven't checked that out, just go back one episode. We released that last week. There'll be, actually by now, there'll be even the episode 2 spoiler discussion will be up before this normal episode post. So there should be 2 spoilercast episodes up. But yeah, the show has been a massive success, drew in 4.7 million viewers, in the US, making it the second highest premiere in 10 years. And then, as far as I could see this morning after it, because we're recording this Tuesday morning, after it came out, of course, yesterday afternoon, I guess, on Monday, it got like a 22%, I think, increase was what the story was going around, for up. So the viewers didn't drop. They have increased, so that's always a very good thing, because most shows drop a little bit, and that's an expected thing. It's expected that most shows drop a little bit. It's just how much do they drop is what deems good to bad. Like, is it a small drop? That's fine. Is it 50%? Oh no. Oh no, we're in trouble. So how have you, what are your, I guess your spoiler-free thoughts on The Last of Us? I know we've sort of talked about in multiple shows at this point, so make them brief.
Every single show that we've had.
Every single show, so just brief thoughts, I guess.
Even Holocron entries, there was a weird time. So.
And then how are you feeling about like the numbers, it being like such a massive success, and how do we think that's going to affect, I guess, the other things, like be it the Uncharted and whatever else, which didn't do as critically well, or even like the numbers were okay, like wasn't a huge box office success.
It was the 13th highest grossing movie of last year, so I think they're pretty stoked with that. It was no Avatar or Top Gun, but I mean...
No, and I'm sure they would prefer the critic reviews to be better, though, is the thing. In a world where Last of Us is doing critically, like, 90s on Metacritic and whatever else.
Yeah. Obviously the show is really great. You know, they've kind of expanded the world. They've, hit all the character beats that we wanted to hit. Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey are fantastic. It's just a fantastic show. High quality production design, great, like it's insane how high level it is, and you're getting so many cool key moments or Easter eggs and that kind of stuff as people who've played the games. But as seeing people who haven't played the games or know anything about The Last of Us beforehand, they're like enjoying it as well. So that's cool. It's incredible, the numbers. Obviously, what they said, it's the second highest debut for a new series of all since Boardwalk Empire back in 2010, only beaten by House of the Dragon, which obviously had that Game of Thrones audience built in. But yeah, I think they knew this was going to be a home run, and it might. I think they'd already got, if they hadn't had a bunch of TV shows in the works already, I think they would be like, oh, this is the direction we need to go in. It's like premium television. Maybe movies aren't the be all end all. It's not the direction we need to go in. But I think it's good for PlayStation Productions. They've got the big first success, and hopefully with this we can stop talking about the video game curse for the rest of history.
Yeah,
we put that argument to death.
Yeah,
put it to bed.
I've said this, I'm sick of it. But obviously it's very, very good. The show's fantastic. Talked about how on What Do You Want to Watch, how my testament bar quickly was parents watched it. I told them to watch it. They had no idea it was a video game. I just said it was a new HBO show that's reviewing very well. Dad's like, yeah, sure. HBO is good, right? They've enjoyed both episodes. So, like being quote unquote normies. So it's not just a thing of only the people who like and know the video game and everything like that are liking it. So that's good. Numbers wise, doing very well. I think that's cool. Makes me wonder if the problem they're going to quickly run into is no different than Game of Thrones to a degree, because this show is doing massive for them, and we don't know where the show ends. That's the thing, right? So, presuming The Last of Us Season 1 takes the entire events of the first game, they have an entire other game. Maybe they stretch the second game into 2 seasons, but at a certain stage, we're going to hit either 2 or 3 seasons of content. And if they all continue to be, like if the second season, say that comes out, and HBO will want that faster. That's the thing. They'll be like, this show's massive. When can we get the second season? And then it's going to be like, well, fuck, you're catching up. Where's the third game? We now need the third game's content. So now they're going to enter this weird, the dog chasing the tail scenario with the show. And that's the only thing I'm sort of worried about.
Well,
like, how does that affect
my other
the game's
concern is
production
with 2 episodes in, and we've only hit like the first 2 hours of the game, I want to say, off the top of my head. 2-3
Yeah,
hours.
but I could almost, so in my head, I was literally thinking about last night. I'm like, okay, so we're here. Episode 3 is Bill. Episode 4 is Cannibals. Episode 5 is Winter. I could nearly in my head sort of figure out where we're going. And in my mind, I can definitely see it being the entire game in one season. So with the pacing and everything they've got going now. So of course we won't bother talking about it spoiler free each and every week. There's sort of no point. But if you are watching along the show, just make sure you're catching those Last of Us spoiler discussions. They are all going to be on the Platinum Explosion feed, or if you like to listen in the web browser on explosionnetwork.com. Of a PlayStation productions thing that happened while we've been off was at CES for some reason. They dropped a sneak peek at the Gran Turismo movie that's coming out. The true story of John Mardenborough, the teenager who basically loved playing Gran Turismo and got really good and then won tournaments and went on to actually race real cars and everything. The sneak peek they released showed a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, people talking to the camera, including like David Arbor, London Bloom, the star Archie Metaque. Showed some of the way they're filming it, and by the looks of it's hard to tell like what's like footage or them just releasing it, but I think it's a combination of stuff that should be in the film. There's one shot in particular I like where they've strapped, I think it's around, if I flick through it now, I think it's like right at the start, it's around like 10 to 12 seconds or something else. Yeah, it's like at 14 seconds, you can see they've got like this camera strapped to the back of a car, and the way they're shooting it, at least for this one particular shot, makes it look like the third person view for a car when you're playing the game. But it's real cars, not like CGI, so I actually think it looks pretty sick. I know it's a minute and it's a sneak peek sort of thing, but I actually think this film could be very like I like Gran Turismo games in general. Like I talked about before, I played the fuck out of 3 as a kid. Played a fair chunk in the last one for review and everything. Quite enjoyed that. I like car movies when they're done well. Obviously, be that Fast and Furious or fucking Rush or Ford vs Ferrari, whatever. The way they're shooting it, they got real cars racing around, and they're not relying if it's shot and edited well, and it gets like the thrill of the race and all these sorts of things. And it's an interesting true story, and one that I knew nothing about until they announced this. So I think that's also very cool. But what are your thoughts on the Neil Blomkamp directed Gran Turismo movie based on the sneak peek?
I mean, they've kind of filmed it in a way that looks like Gran Turismo, like a lot of racing, like lots of free cameras and rain and that kind of stuff. So technically it looks great. It'll just be like story-wise if it's up to stuff, if it's a story that we can get invested in and that kind of stuff. But if you're a car fan, I guess it's car porn to a certain degree. So
I think the story, like the story it should just be your typical, like, underdog, you get to that final underdog story. Like that's in my mind. Surely that's all it is. It's just an underdog story about a dude who's like, you'll have people in the movie like, you can't win the race, man. You're just a gamer, you know, like, like you can't beat us. We're real race car drivers, and then whatever happens there. But the other thing I completely missed or had forgotten about, or I don't know, but August 10th in theaters, like that's coming up fast, isn't it? Like,
yeah. It is pretty
really, yeah. I was like, wow, okay. Soon.
PSVR for the players.
All right, and finally for this week, let's talk about some VR news. Of course, this is coming out on the 25th of January. That puts us about like less than a month away from the PlayStation VR2 release. I'm very excited, of course, as someone who spent the majority of 2022 talking about and trying to predict the release date as being early 2023, and I was right because I'm always right. Very excited. PlayStation has recently announced 13 new games on the PlayStation blog and then given a list of all 30 games that are coming to the console in the launch window. The launch window they're currently counting as launch end of February 22nd through to end of March, which is a pretty short launch window, but that's fine with me. The 13 new games I'll go through because there's an asterisk on new because some of them or a lot of them are either ports or games we've had before, whatever else. But so Before Your Eyes, this is the game that was did really well on PC, where it actually used your camera to track what you was looking at and stuff like that, and it sort of incorporates it and becomes part of the game. So making this into a VR game, when one of the big selling points of the VR console is it has eye tracking in the headset now, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm like, they'll do well. So I'm keen to play this one. I think this is definitely a good port, or what I think you could play it in VR and Steam as well, but obviously a good port to PlayStation VR on launch. That's really good. Comes out March 10th, not launch day, but anyway. Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition launch window. So I played Creed Rise to Glory. It was fun. It was fun. Had a few problems. They've introduced like multiplayer and all these other things since then. But obviously, for a lot of these games like this, the big thing is going to be the increase. Like, it didn't look great. The other thing is going to be the more, you got more movement options and whatever else that's going to be in PSVR 2 compared to the original game. So I'm keen to get stuck back into a Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition. I presume it's going to time up its release close to the third Creed movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if you get some DLC for the game that adds in.
Put Jonathan Majors, yeah.
Jonathan Majors in the game, so that would all make sense. Kayak VR Mirage, that's coming out on launch day. You're paddling in this game, paddling around. Looks quite pretty. I could get down for this. I think I could definitely be like, just you sit down, sit in my chair here, paddle around, spot some whales and shit. I'm fucking down.
Oh, yeah? So it's just a basic paddling.
It just looks relaxing.
What was
to me.
that massive VR game where you paddle? You're like in a kayak, but you're shooting people.
Yeah, there was a shooting kayak game. This is just a relaxing kayak game. I mean, there's a part in the trailer where there's like a thunderstorm or some shit happening, but otherwise it looks like there's just dolphins and you're spotting stuff and whatever else. And of course, it's hard to tell because you watch the trailer, and you're like, yeah, that dolphin doesn't look great, but in VR, like we talk about this whole time, trailers for VR games are sort of hard to sell.
Yeah.
So if I come on here and I say the kayak game, that part where the dolphin jumped out of the water and I lost my mind. It's VR, the power of VR.
Yeah.
NFL Pro Era comes out launch day. This is another port. It was on PSVR already. I don't really know. You're a fucking NRL coach or some shit. I don't understand. How do you play this game? How does the NRL work, Ash? You throw balls?
Yeah.
What do you do? I don't understand.
Wait, what game are you talking about?
NRL Pro Era. Utilizing NFL Pro Era. Sorry, what did I say?
NRL.
Yeah, they're all the same. What's the difference?
No, they're completely different. I assume you'll just be a quarterback, like throwing the ball to people.
No, you're telling people what to do. You're like a coach or some shit, I think. It says utilizing real game data, NFL Pro Era brings the bright lights, team chants, and thousands of screen fans to your home in one of the most authentic and immersive first-person VR games ever. Step under center and see if you have what it takes to lead your team to a Super Bowl or play virtual catch with friends in your favorite stadium.
Yeah, you lead your team to your Super Bowl, improve your quarterback skills by participating in drills. So as an NFL quarterback, you'll feel the excitement of what it's like to lead your team and compete under the bright lights with thousands of screaming fans. So yeah, you're just playing as a quarterback.
All right, cool.
Throwing the balls.
Throwing the balls.
I mean, could be cool. It could be cool for like an afternoon or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fair. PAVLOV comes launch day, February 22nd. Number one most popular multiplayer PC VR shooter is what the title is for this one. And I believe that because I see a bunch of people playing it. I see it all the time, like trending on the VR titles on Steam and whatever else. So I'd be keen to try this one because everyone loves it on Steam. And if they'd ported this to PSVR, the first one, I would have been like, yeah, this is probably going to be completely shit because it just won't work the same. But it's got a variety of modes and I don't know. It's a shooter. I mean, it's a shooter, but
yeah,
VR. So. Puzzling Places comes out launch day. This is a port of a PSVR game. It's they've updated the resolution and added in like a whole bunch of features, but it's a puzzle game. Like you're literally
it's like
building a puzzle. Right? Yeah, literally jigsaw puzzles in VR, which sounds boring, but I guess it's one of those things where when you're looking at it in the headset in the 3D space, I'm sure it looks a lot cooler than Like it does in the trailer.
Some would argue doing a jigsaw puzzle is boring, but
yeah, I would even say that. So it's sort of hard for me to get excited about this game because they frustrate the fuck out of me. So
start with the sides.
It's got to start with sides. How do you start with sides? These fucking puzzles are circular. What the fuck is? What the fuck are they doing? What are they doing there? That's trying to screw me.
That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do then? I guess it's still the side. You still just start with they'll still have the flat piece to indicate they're the outside.
I'm sure they've got like curved pieces.
Yeah. So. Then we got Res Infinite, comes on February 22nd launch day as well. This is just a port again, but this one they're adding in the eye tracking, haptic feedback, and headset feedback, and I can't fucking wait because even years later, playing Res in VR, still some of my favorite VR memories, especially with just the way the music, just like fucking the banging ass soundtrack with heavy bass and shooting. It's insane. Like if you haven't played it, like it's sort of hard to pitch because if you look at the game, it almost looks like shit. You're like, what is this? Like if you watch the trailer, like this doesn't look that good. But when you're in VR and it's sort of like playing Tetris, which we'll get to in a minute here as well. Like you just zone the fuck out and it's awesome. So I can't wait to play this with some of the new PSVR2 features. I'm wondering for how many of these games I'll just get is my question. And I haven't answered that yet. Like for all these ones I own, like Res Infinite, do I have it? Do I have a cheaper cost upgrade? Like what's I want to know. Then we got Song in the Smoke Rekindled, February 22nd, survival action game. This was, I think, also on PSVR and a newer port or something like that. But it says it's a fully remastered, supercharged edition with improvements on graphics, gameplay advantages for the PSVR 2 sense controllers, haptics. You can jump now. All these are features that sound like, you can jump. You can jump now. Let's go. But yeah, it looks kind of insane. It's it's got like
it's Horizon
dinosaurs
actual
yeah, like it's like Horizon but scarier, I guess. And then it's got like
Horizons
normal animals.
Horizon
it's got like normal animals
machines.
with piggies, and then it's got like weird like I don't know,
Smoke
supernatural creatures and stuff. So. Synth Riders Remastered Edition comes out on launch day February 22nd. This remastered version brings this one actually says offered as a free upgrade to everyone who owns Synth Riders. So there you go. This brings all the DLC purchases as well. And yeah, this is just a rhythm game where you sort of just move between things. And again, it's sort of, you watch a trailer, you're like, what the fuck is this? But you have to play it. So, Tetris Effect Connected February 22nd. This is with eye tracking enabled, you can enter the zone by closing and then opening your eyes. Oh boy. You tell me I can do something by just closing and opening my eyes in a game? We're fucking officially in the minority report, everyone. I am Tom Cruise. You can also feel key moments of the game and your actions through headset feedback and haptic feedback on the DualSense controller. These enhancements deliver a truly unique Tetris experience. As someone who loves Tetris Effect, favorite game of 20, whatever year it came out, I forgot, 2022, I think. No, 2020, sorry. And then love Tetris Effect Connected when it was an Xbox launch game. Now I can play Tetris Effect Connected in VR with enhancements to everything. Controller, headset. Let's fucking go. Game year 2022, 2023. That's what I reckon. The Last Clockwinder, February 22nd. Last Clockwinder is a puzzle game. It's like, I don't know. It's fucking, what's that game buddy like? What's that?
There's so many.
Oh, yeah. That's true. There is. The fucking puzzle game. I don't know. Like, it's you're in a room, there's robots, there's puzzles to solve, stuff like that. It looks like a game that would drive me up the wall. But anyway. Thumper, February 22nd. I'm keen for this as well. So, 4K visuals. Hells yeah. 3D audio, yeah. Sense controls, haptic feedback, yeah, fuck yeah. So Thumper, I remember so I tried playing it because I played it on PSVR, and it gets quite hard, but it's also just an insane experience. Like it's a music rhythm game, but it's also sort of like you're in a horror movie because the music's sort of dark and the visual experience is also dark and everything like that. And I remember I tried playing it on my phone. I was like, this is just not like I started in VR and I was like, I just can't. I just Like it's just not the same at all. So I'm keen to get check this out in VR again because it's just like it's a intense experience. Is what I would say. And then the last game that was announced in this last list is a game that's description reads, "You have bats for hands. Now go." Love it.
What the bat?
It's What the Bat. So What the Golf, of course, a fantastic game. Absolutely love playing that on my phone. Now there's a game called What the Bat where, your two hands, your DualSense, or your sense controller, are bats because you have bats for hands and you've got to do puzzles. And puzzles that aren't really puzzles. They're just, you're fucking, how do you get your washing in the washing machine when you got bats for hands, and how do you eat food when you only got bats for hands? So this is, it's silly humor, obviously, but I think in VR it's going to be a lot of fun. And even not in VR, what the golf was just stupid, but very, very enjoyable. So I'm keen for this. Which of those 13 new ones, like any of them stand out to you?
I mean, Tetris was obviously. I mean, what the bat looks like, it'll be a lot of fun. Like a kind of like a what was the octopus game?
Yeah, the I can't remember with the hands, but
Octodad, that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of like that. Creed should be cool with like better controls.
It's got PvP. You and I can punch on finally.
Finally.
So the full launch window, just brief for this quickly now as well. So I'll stop on the ones and say the launch window, or else if I don't list it, there should be launch date. Should be launch date unless I've got the wrong information or they haven't said.
So this is February 22nd through to the end of March, right?
Yes, through to March, end of March. That's the launch window one. So after the fall, Altair Breaker, Before Your Eyes, that's a launch window. Cities VR, Cosmonosis High, Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition, launch window. Dark Pictures Switchback, launch window. Demio, Dischronica Chaos Alternate, Fantasia 202X, Gran Turismo 7, that's a free upgrade to get the for the PS5 version of the game only, of course. Rise and Call of the Mountain, Job Simulator, Jurassic World Aftermath, Kayak VR Mirage, Kazuna AI Touch the Beat, Last Clock Winder, The Last Brigade, Moss 1 and 2 Remaster, NFL Pro Era, free upgrade, No Man's Sky, launch window, PAVLOV VR, Pistol Whip, free upgrade to if you already own it, Puzzling Places, free upgrade if you already own it, Resident Evil Village, free upgrade for PS5 game owners, Res Infinite, Song in the Smoke, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Enhanced Edition, Synth Riders, The Tale of Onogoro, Tentacular, Tetris Effect Connected, Thumper, Vacation Simulator, What the Bat, and Zenith The Last City, which is a free upgrade. I feel like
that's a lot of games.
I feel like it's a lot of games. And I know most people, I guess the criticism is going to be that there's not enough Horizon, call it a wild level stuff. But
how many of those do you actually get at a launch of a console? Or
exactly. Like if you want to compare this to like what did the PS5 launch with? Like most consoles, even the PS4. Yeah.
Dark Souls.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I don't feel like most people, like the console launch library for the last several generations has never been as good as it was on like Nintendo 64 and all these things that people like to compare it to, because it's just not how it works anymore. But if I'm looking at this, I'm pretty happy as someone who's obviously dead set getting one. Like if I look through the thing, like what stands out to me, obviously Horizon, I can't wait to play that. But there's also just a bunch of games that I never got around to playing, either because I couldn't be bothered on PSVR because it was I hated it and I just fuck off. Or there's stuff that I'd like to play properly that I half started on Oculus or some shit like that. So be that the Jurassic World games, which got mixed reviews, but I still want to play them because sneaking around with dinosaurs sounds fun. Gran Turismo 7, even VR, like but that's the type of thing. When you look at Gran Turismo 7 VR upgrade, that's a whole fucking game. Look at Resident Evil 7 Village. That's a whole AAA game with a VR upgrade. Maybe you've never played it before. So I think this is a solid launch window lineup. I am keen. I'm excited. I assume you're still on you're not getting it at launch, but do you reckon you'll get it before the end of the year, or depends on if there's a sale?
Depends if there's a sale. Like, if there's a must play game.
Yeah. It's going to be Astrobot, and they bring that out in the middle of the
I
year.
mean, if they bring out Astrobot, then maybe I have to pick it up.
That's right.
If they do that and they do a PSVR2 upgrade to the first one.
Have you still got your VR?
Yeah, it's in a box somewhere in that room, side of the room.
Have you considered just seeing before PSVR 2 comes out if you can get any money for it before the price drops out the arse of it? No?
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, that will do it for the first episode of Platinum Exposure for 2023. Of course, let us know if you're excited for PSVR, how you're thinking about The Last of Us, all these sorts of things, either on our Discord, exposurenetwork.com/Discord, or tweet at us, exposurenetwork.com/Twitter. It gives you a list of all of our Twitters. And if you like the episode or the show and want to support it, you can do that. exposurenetwork.com/support. Little as $1, buy us coffee. And until next week, remember, every trophy counts.